Council meeting of the year. First, we're going to start by doing the oaths of office. Nope. Dad, have you, please?
Yes, sir.
Is this one on? Perfect.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jackson Purfirst,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and that I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the office of mayor
the duties of the office of mayor
in the city of Crosslake, Minnesota,
in the city of Crosslake, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Thanks, son.
Thank you.
Yep. Good, good.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You just gone away. So, let's
You can't hear us sing.
I state your name.
I, Bob Helis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and that I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the office of council member
the duties of the office of council member
in the city of Crosslake, Minnesota,
in the city of Crosslake, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability,
So help me God.
so help me God. Thank you. I state your name.
I, Jamie Knapp,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the office of council member
the duties of the office of council member
in the city of Crosslake, Minnesota,
in the city of Crosslake, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you. All right, next we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone could stand up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have some additions to the agenda to make, and those additions are going to be the approving of the 2025 schedule of City of Crosslake Council and Commission meeting dates and now ED8 meeting dates, as well as additional bills for approval. Underneath the mayor's report, we have an update on the short-term rental process. We also have a memo dated from Mayor Purfirst recommending to remove City Administrator Lori Conway from probationary status. So if I could have a motion on that, that would be great.
I move to approve the additions to the agenda.
We have
Second.
Jamie seconded. All in favor? Or sorry, did I do that right? Yeah, okay, yep. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. All right, second, we're gonna be discussing, let's see, to fulfill my vacancy, so resolution 25 dash whatever, and it's a resolution accepting council member resignation and declaring a vacancy. So I'd like to declare my council seat is vacant, so if I could have a second on that, that would be great.
Second.
Any other discussion? Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Perfect. Now, we need to fill that vacancy, and I only think it's fair to, since there's three council members that ran a fair campaign, and you guys all came in a pretty close cluster, I would like to move Robin Sylvester's name forward to fulfill and appoint her to my 2-year vacancy. So if I would like, that's a motion, if I could have a second on that, I would appreciate it.
Second that motion.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, perfect. Robin, we're going to do your oath of office, so why don't you come step on up, please?
I, Robin Sylvester,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution
to support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and to discharge faithfully
and discharge faithfully
the duties of the office of City Council
the duties of the office of City Council
of the City of Cross Lake, Minnesota,
of the City of Cross Lake, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability. So help me God.
All right, next we have a big recognition for Captain Neil Lazar.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we would like to recognize one of our firefighters that has retired this past year. Neil Lazar, you want to come on up? Can you get embarrassed? Neil's turning in his firefighter gear after 20-plus years of service to the city of Cross Lake and our community. Neil has had many positions on the fire department, including firefighter, officer, captain, and currently assistant chief for many years. He was one of our lead educators during Fire Prevention Week and coordinated many public education trainings at Cross Lake Community School. Neil is well known in the community and was dedicated to the fire department and serving the citizens of Cross Lake. We would like to thank the Lazar family for all the time he has spent with us Wednesday nights and the thousands of calls he's responded to over the past 20 years. Neil, thank you for your 20 years of service and the commitment to the fire department. Thank you.
Neil, let's get a picture with your family up here too.
I'm sad to see him go.
Yeah.
Move this way a little bit so it's
Hey, guys, how are you? Shift to your right, one step, everybody.
Team bonding. You're fine.
So professional.
No.
Panoramic.
You sure draw a crowd, Neil.
Firefighters, form up. For final salute. Firefighters, take two. Present arms. Chief Neil Muzar departing. Ready, face, forward, up.
Yeah.
Because you got your,
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Perfect. What a beautiful send-off for such a dedicated veteran of our fire department. All right, Chief Meyer, you're up here for some citizen awards.
They were gonna try to make it, but there was no promises, so they don't live in town here. And I couldn't get a hold of the victim after repeated phone calls, but nonetheless, this is something we started last year, kinda just an act that was done that undoubtedly saved a life. So I will just be mailing these awards to the Wheelers. We'll be getting these and then a challenge claim from our office. But I'll just read a little bit of, just a quick little description of what happened. On August 3rd, 2024, Father Patrick and his two sons, Caden and Kyler Wheeler, were heading for the hot tub at Whitefish Lodge and Suites when they discovered an individual unconscious face down floating in the pool. They pulled that individual from the pool and began CPR until Cross Lake Police, Cross Lake Fire, and North Memorial Ambulance arrived on scene and took over life-saving measures. Connor was resuscitated and flown by North Memorial Air Care to the hospital in the city, is where he made a full recovery. Because of the quick actions taken by Patrick, Caden, and Kyler, Connor is alive and well today and will be forever grateful to them. So it's an honor to award these good, give these good citizenship awards to Patrick Caden and Kyler Wheeler. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we're gonna do a little quick change of stage here. You wanna cue the game, TJ?
I don't want to watch it because you're recording it. Right. It's going to be pretty hard to avoid.
All right, that feels more like at home. All right. All right, next we're gonna move into our first dangerous dog hearing that the city of Cross Lake has ever had to do. So I'm gonna ask that, let's see. The individual who has requested the dangerous dog request hearing, Todd Dischinger, to please come forward to the podium, state your name and address and where you live, and give us your synopsis of the situation that happened, please. Okay. If the both of you could please state your name and address, that would be appreciated.
Todd Dischinger, 14297 Big Pine Trail, Cross Lake, Minnesota.
Michelle Dischinger, 14297 Big Pine Trail, Cross Lake, Minnesota.
Perfect. Can you please give the council, this is the first that anyone on the council, and including myself, all we know is that there was a dangerous dog, there was an incident, and we haven't been told anything to keep it impartial. So
Okay.
we don't even have the police report in front of us.
Well, the neighbor has a small dog and he antagonizes my dogs.
Okay?
Has been
I
for
mean,
years.
has been for years.
Sorry.
He's been caught up on our deck several times when he thought no one was home with his dog while my dogs are right there on the window. He
Okay. Who-
walks up and,
Who's caught him?
my wife
Okay, just,
and
Yeah.
neighbor Alan has been over there when it's happened. But according to the cops, because we never made a complaint, it never happened to them.
okay.
And my dog gets along with everybody. I bring him to the dog park. You know, you live on our road, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of other little dogs they all get along with.
Yeah,
And,
He purposely, like,
I think he was purposely looking for something. I can't say for sure. That's just my opinion.
okay.
one
But
time he.
I've never seen him out walking his dog at night. I don't know,
I
I
have.
walk my dogs at night.
Yeah,
And I was coming home and all of a sudden he came around the corner with his dog and I crossed the street and he came right up to my dogs and Zeke bit him,
okay,
my
were
dog.
you on your side and Daryl was on his side of the street, or
He
how?
came right up to me.
So
when I was
Daryl-
trying to cross the street,
Daryl walked towards you,
yes.
okay,
And Zeke bit him.
okay,
And, okay, but
yeah,
he wouldn't take his dog to the vet that night. I believe it was almost 24 hours before he took his dog to the vet and then it came up to die. I mean, I've brought my dog everywhere. I go to the dog park with him. Everybody loves him. I mean, anybody wants to meet him, they can come and meet him. You've met him, I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
and my grandson will sit down with him while he eats and feeds him out of the hand.
This is a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Can I ask a question? Has your dog ever had an altercation with this dog that he bit before?
Not
No,
like technically.
because he's never really been out with them, but
His dog has physically come into our yard while
not on a
Zeke-
chain.
I would say on,
Zeke has been on a chain, and his dog has physically come into our yard without a chain, and I've had to go out there because I physically see it and bring my dog in. So he will not harm his dog that is in my yard.
Okay.
If that, I mean,
And, you know, I guess, I just figured the cops have something better to do, so I never made a complaint, so they
Yeah.
say it didn't happen,
Down there,
Okay.
so.
down there.
Why don't we have you guys sit over here real quick, and we'll bring Daryl up. Daryl, why don't you come up to the podium, please? Name and address. If your daughter wants to join you, that's more than welcome.
My name is Darrell Swenson, and I own a lake home at 14312 Big Pine Trail in
Okay.
Cross Lake. What Mr. Dissinger has told you is either irrelevant or just a flat-out lie.
Just hold on. You're doing good.
I would like to show you the dog that we are concerned about. And I have a picture of the dog that I would like to project on the screen. This is my dog Reggie. He is a 7-year-old Cavachon. He weighed 17 pounds at the time of his death. And I cannot emphasize enough how gentle and quiet and easygoing this dog was. It is simply not true that this dog went across the road and entered the Dissinger property, except for once, perhaps 4, 5, 6 years ago, when Zeke, the Dissinger dog, didn't exist. And when my dog went across to the Dissinger property, I immediately went and retrieved my dog. But the thing is that when my dog went there, Zeke wasn't there. There was no Zeke at that time. So Mr. Dissinger is quite incorrect in what he has told you so far. So I want to give you my version of the events that occurred. And I would like you to have in mind, perhaps, that, let me use my arms. Let's say that this arm depicts the Big Pine Trail. And this depicts my driveway that comes to the trail. The Dissinger property is over here. My property is just behind. And the event that this hearing concerns occurred about right here. On my side of Big Pine Trail, on my property. And the situation was that,
Daryl, can I interject real quick?
yes,
What time are we talking? What time?
at about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And it was dark, and Reggie knew that somebody was coming down the road from the east, going west, and but I couldn't see who it was, and I was simply watching Reggie to make sure that he would sit still as these people went by. But
Was Reggie on a leash?
Pardon?
Was Reggie leashed?
He was leashed, yes. So here is my more formal statement as to the events. On Sunday, December 8, 2024, at about 6:00 p.m., Zeke, an Alaskan Malamute, in an unprovoked attack on my dog, Reggie, a 7-pound Cavachon, killed Reggie when Reggie was sitting quietly on his haunches on my property at 14312 Big Pine Trail, Cross Lake. Although Zeke was on a leash, his owner could not and did not control him. Reggie died at about 12 noon on Monday. Now, the Dissingers want to make the point that it was 24 hours or so before I sought medical help. It's not true. I called pet triage that night, and then there was no veterinarian available until 8:00 the next morning, and I took Reggie to the Cross Lake Veterinary Clinic right promptly at 8:00. Zeke suddenly and violently came off the Big Pine Trail, charged Reggie, and took Reggie in the grip of his jaw. The evidence shows that the jaw encircled Reggie so that his head was over here, and the force of Zeke's jaw punctured Reggie's body in 6 places, from tail to the front. And in addition to that, Reggie's intestines were ruptured, so that his intestines were pushed out of the lining of his stomach, about the size of a softball. Dr. Nikki Sedavi attended to Reggie on Monday morning, and she is the one who told me that the intestines bulged out that much. And Reggie was in extreme pain and shock, and his ribs were damaged, his neurological well-being was damaged. Very likely several of Reggie's bones were broken. Reggie died as a result of those injuries. After Zeke released Reggie, Reggie scurried to get away and to lay on the ground. I went to Reggie to try to comfort him, but he scurried away into my 34 by 24 garage. I followed him and closed the doors so that Reggie would be contained in the garage. I feared that Reggie would try to escape into the woods to find a place to die, because I think he knew he was dying. I heated the garage as best I could, and I arranged a tarp and a sleeping bag so that I could stay with Reggie in the garage. I watched Reggie through the night, sleeping intermittently. I gave Reggie food and water and his favorite blanket from my house. Reggie exhibited the behavior of a dying animal during the night. He sought out places to hide, to be left alone. He did not eat or drink. He fended me off with growls and biting when I tried to touch him. At early morning, Reggie sought my comfort by laying on my sleeping bag during my absence when I went at 8:00 to the Cross Lake Veterinary Hospital to get advice on how to bring Reggie there without further damaging him. I mean, I was concerned that he might have broken bones or whatever, and if I picked him up, I would aggravate the problem. When I found him on my sleeping bag after I had returned from the vet hospital, Reggie was basically immobile. At 8:30, I took him to the veterinary hospital. He was sedated. His pulse was at 220, which is very high. His respiratory rate was 40, according to Dr. Sedovy, which is also very high. At 12 o'clock noon, Dr. Sedovy of the hospital called and reported her findings, and they were set out in a report from the hospital. Now, the hospital records were released to the police department, so far as I know. At least I authorized that release. And those records were released to animal control. I gave that authorization. So those records are available. And there are 6 radiographs that show the puncture wounds in Reggie's body, and also the bulging of his intestines. Dr. Sedovy's opinion was that Reggie would die without medical intervention, and that the extent of the needed medical intervention was uncertain, and that the cost of the known needed intervention was estimated at about $7,000 and more if there were complications that revealed themselves during the original surgery. When I saw Reggie in the hospital room, exam room, Reggie lay inert. His eyes were open, but stationary, not looking at anything in particular. His head did not move. He did not respond to me or to Dr. Sedovy. He laid as if he were dead. And I want to emphasize that, in my view, Reggie was already dead. It's just that his heart hadn't stopped. And so Dr. Sedovy administered sodium pentothal to him, and that stopped his heart and, of course, his life. Now, I want to say a word or two about this Malamute, Zeke. The first thing to note is that Mr. Dissinger could not control that dog. Even though the dog was on a leash, the dog charged my dog, and there was really nothing that Mr. Dissinger could do to stop it. Although he should have been able to, he didn't. This Malamute is large, powerful, and predatory, especially toward small animals. And innumerable times, as I walked Reggie down my driveway and onto Big Pine Trail, we always took the same route. I would hear Zeke barking at us as we went by, and the bark filled the entire neighborhood. It was a massive bark, and it always frightened me. But then I heard Todd yelling in abusive ways at this dog, and I wondered how the dog could be a gentle dog when treated so abusively by Mr. Dissinger.
Daryl, do you have anything more pertaining to the incident, firsthand the incident? Not previous history, but just the incident?
That, I think I have stated the incident.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Animals are family members to both families. This is a very difficult topic. It saddens me to have this at our first
First
meeting.
one.
It's very difficult because I'm a puppy owner as well. But if the dog was unprovoked, the statute clearly reads, "And when unprovoked, inflicts bites on a human or domestic animal on public or private property, is deemed classified as potentially dangerous dog."
But that's not the statutes that's applicable here tonight.
So we still have more to this hearing, so I'd like to continue on before we start quoting statutes, if that's okay?
Sure,
So I'm gonna have you please sit down at this point, Daryl,
okay?
and then we will continue on. At this point, if I could have the responding officer, Haynes, please come up to the podium and give us your dissertation of the situation, please, that you witnessed when you arrived on scene.
I'm Officer Cody Haynes, badge number 304, work for Cross Lake PD, been here for a little over 3 years now. On 12/8/24 at 17:24 hours, I was dispatched to Daryl Swenson's address for reports of a dog.
Who made the call?
It would have been Daryl.
Thank you.
Yep. I was dispatched, Daryl walked me around his property and showed me where the incident occurred. There was tracks in the snow, which were conducive with the story. Daryl appeared to be on his property, but right next to the road.
Okay,
The timeline does line up at 17:24. It was well after dark at that point. The report came in 10, 15 minutes later. So
fine.
the incident would have happened when it was dark.
okay,
Daryl reported to me that he was on his property next to the road with his dog when Todd was also walking his dog. He
Yeah.
reported that both dogs were on a leash. And as they approached and got closer, it was reported by Swenson that Mr. Dissinger's dog did in fact attack his dog. And it took a little bit of a struggle, but eventually he was able to get the dog off. And that's when they parted ways and he called. I went into the garage to observe the nature of the injuries of Mr. Swenson's dog. I did observe injuries conducive with an animal bite on the dog's torsos. And it did appear at the time that the dog was in some sort of pain. He wouldn't allow Mr. Swenson to touch him at all. He was in a lot of pain. After I interviewed Mr. Swenson, I did go over to Mr. Dissinger's house to speak with him about what happened. I did meet the dog at the time, which was not aggressive towards me at the time.
okay,
And it was reported that Dissinger stated to me that something like this has never happened before.
okay,
Mr. Dissinger also, again, walking his dog down the road. It was dark, kind of hard to see
Yep.
when the dog did go after Swenson's dog. And Dissinger did state that he did make an attempt to get the dog off of him.
okay,
And eventually was successful, but again, took a struggle.
okay,
At that time, I did issue a potentially dangerous dog form,
yeah,
which at the
Why?
time was conducive to the state statute. However, it was reported the next day that Mr. Swenson's dog had been euthanized due to its injuries, and we do have the vet records to coincide with that.
okay. Does council have any further questions of Officer Haynes? Okay, thank you, Cody.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Mr. O'Brien, can I please have you come up to the podium? Please state your involvement in the case and then your address, please. And that you're contracted with the city.
Yeah, with respect, I'm not going to give you my address.
Oh, yes, that's fine, sorry, yes.
I've had people show up to my house because of these things.
Yeah, we do not need that.
Yeah. Mike O'Brien, I serve as the animal control officer for Cross Lake and most of the cities in Crow Wing County. Basically, I was contacted the next day after the Reggie was brought to the veterinarian, so.
Contacted by whom?
Cross Lake Police Department.
Thank you.
So, my synopsis of the case will show how we arrived at the dangerous dog designation. So, on 12/8/2024, roughly 5:10 p.m., Daryl Swenson was walking his dog Reggie, which is a 17-pound Cavachon, near the edge of his property adjacent to Big Pine Trail. At that same time, Todd Dissinger was walking his dog Zeke, which as of the 9th of this month was 170 pounds. So a 170-pound male mute down Big Pine Trail. As Todd and Zeke got closer to Daryl and Reggie, Zeke suddenly attacked Reggie without warning or provocation. And just so we know what provocation is, It's actually defined in the Minnesota State, the dangerous dog statutes, what provocation means here. And provocation means an act that an adult could reasonably expect may cause a dog to attack or bite. So that night, Todd was served a potentially dangerous dog notice under Minnesota Statute 347.50, when unprovoked inflicts a bite on human or domestic animal. I was notified the next morning that Reggie was taken into the Cross Lake Veterinary Hospital and had to be euthanized due to the extent of his injuries. I did speak with Dr. Sedevi, who was a veterinarian who treated Reggie. I have the medical reports. It's kind of difficult to read. I had her explain to me in layman's terms what all those weird words mean. And basically, Reggie did have a bunch of puncture wounds, but most of his wounds were internal. He was bit several times in his neck and chest. He received multiple puncture wounds to his neck and chest area. Some of the bites were powerful enough to cause a hernia, with multiple loops of intestine being forced through his stomach wall, but remained under the skin. Reggie also suffered from a subcutaneous emphysema, which is basically, in extreme trauma, it's air pockets underneath the skin, which can create issues down the road. And he had abnormal distension to his trachea. Mr. Swenson was provided an estimate for basically what I was told was like an exploratory surgery, just to see if we can even save the dog, from anywhere $4,500 to $7,000. And that was to see if he could be saved. And there's no guarantee that that would be successful. It was decided at that time that due to the nature of his wounds and the fact that Reggie was in a lot of pain, shock, and he was rapidly declining, that Reggie be euthanized immediately. Zeke clearly meets this Minnesota standard of dangerous dog, and I provided Mr. Dissinger the notice of dangerous dog packet on 12/12/24. There are 3 standards for a dog in the state of Minnesota to be declared a dangerous dog. And the standard that Zeke met was 347.50 sub 22. He killed a domestic animal without provocation while off the owner's property. Mr. Swenson talked about veterinary care not available at that time. I've had to deal with this countless times in the middle of the night. So there, up until about 10 p.m., there are emergency veterinary services in this area. In Cross Lake, 2 in Baxter, and 1 veterinary clinic in Brainerd all kind of work together, and somebody is usually on call, but it could take a multiple hour phone call just to get them into the office. The only place that would have been available at that time of day to take Reggie would have been Fargo, North Dakota, or Duluth.
Ooh.
Sunset at the date of the incident was 4:29 p.m., so it was clearly dark when this happened. The police report does show what Officer Haynes said, and it was never corrected until now, that Mr. Swenson was on his property at the edge of Big Pine Trail. And, yeah. I understand you guys haven't done this before, but we've handled a ton of these, so unfortunately, if you have any questions.
The date that, what date did this happen again? I think Daryl said the 8th?
The 8th.
The 8th? And then when did you contact or talk with Todd or Michelle?
It wasn't until the 12th, so you guys didn't even have paperwork for a dangerous dog. So we
Correct.
had to get that put together, and
Correct.
and then I had some stuff I wasn't available.
So you administered, or Cody first administered the dangerous dog.
Potentially.
Potential dangerous dog. Mr. Swenson's dog then passed away.
Yep.
And then you were brought into the scene to issue the dangerous dog?
Yeah. So we filled out all the paperwork declaring Zeke a dangerous dog under that statute, and then served that to the Dissingers.
Okay.
And that was like 9 p.m. on the 12th.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions of Mr. O'Brien? Okay, thank you. This is just for both parties. Todd, do you have anybody here with you tonight that can speak as witness, which was stated in the packet, the agenda packet online, that you had a chance to bring a witness? Do you have anyone here to? Daryl, do you have anybody here that is to speak of witness to Reggie's character? Is there anyone? Yeah. Do you have anyone in the audience to speak? Okay.
Well, can I speak on Zeke's behalf? Or
Well-
doesn't that count because he's my dog?
Yeah, he's your dog. So come on up, please state your name, relationship.
I'm Julie Swenson. Emotional, so bear with me.
And Julie, you don't live up here, correct?
I'm sorry?
You don't live up here, correct?
I do not.
Okay.
No, I was not a witness to the actual incident, but I can tell you that Reggie, sweetest dog, I mean, everybody says that about their kids, right? But he was the sweetest dog, loved everybody, just was a cuddly, snuggly dog. I mean, he, you know, I mean, what else, what would you like to know?
That's,
I mean, he was 17 pounds,
right,
you know, and he,
right.
I don't know what to
Right.
say, other than,
Nope.
you know, not a dog that's gonna provoke a 170-pound dog.
Okay, thank you. Gary, I saw you kind of throw your hand. Do you want to come up to the microphone and state who you are and, please?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is Gary Swanson. I live at 14270 Big Pine Trail. We live 2 doors down from Darrow, kind of kitty corner from these folks. And we had an incident that happened the first week of January last year. We didn't report it, but I was walking my dog. I have a Labradoodle. He's about 70 pounds, walking him just out of our driveway. And Zeke, I didn't even know his name before, he broke loose on the leash and attacked my dog. And he bit his hind. He was limping for a few days. We took him to a vet, no punctures. But I did everything I could to hold the big dog back so he wouldn't do anything. They came out right away and grabbed Zeke, said they had the biggest leash they could find. I said, you better find a chain because you gotta curtail that dog.
And in all fairness, I do recall you calling me.
I sent
to
you a
let
text.
me know. You sent
Yep.
me a text and you called
January
me.
10th, Jackson at the time is in the neighborhood. We just come up here. It's our lake house. We happen to be up over the New Year's. And so I wanted someone to know because I was afraid that maybe that dog would attack a kid or something. Ever since then, we'd always walk the other way. We'd walk in front of that house because we didn't want our dog to be attacked again. So I just thought that would be important for everyone to know. Maybe should have filed a police report. I didn't. I'm hoping it was just an individual incident that happened. And so I just wanted everyone to know our story of what happened that first week of January 2024.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Swanson? Nothing? Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Todd and Michelle, I'm going to please, if you want to come back and give your final remarks on. I'm giving you a fair shake here. I'm trying to do the best. You got to realize the situation I'm in too. We all know each other.
Can I address Daryl
No.
on a question?
No.
I just,
No.
Zeke is nothing like, I mean, I understand he weighs 160 pounds. He is the most kindest, loving dog ever. And, I mean, trust me, I have bought the biggest, heaviest chains, anything possible you can buy. We spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to make sure that he is safe. And trust me, I watch out the window all the time just so I know that he is not doing anything to anybody that walks up and down our road. I would never, never, never want to hurt anybody else's dog ever. Because we have 2 dogs, obviously, and Gizmo is the complete opposite of Zeke. And he would never, neither one of our dogs would never.
Todd?
And it's not, if you recall the date that he looks on, it was an ice storm.
Yeah.
And so
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
it was an ice storm on that Sunday, or
Okay.
just 'cause
Yeah.
the roads were all icy, everything was that icy. So, yes, Zeke did pull me down because of the ice, but when I pulled him off Daryl's dog, it was in the middle of the street because I was laying on my dog to hold him down.
Yeah.
And so, yes, he did pull me down because of the ice. It's not like I couldn't
Okay.
control him,
Okay.
but,
And-
Thank you.
yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Daryl, would you like your last opportunity at the microphone?
I would like to cross-examine Mr. Dissinger.
Let's not, no. As much, no, I know, exactly, Michelle, I didn't let Todd do it to Daryl, so Daryl, we're not gonna do that tonight.
Well, I made that request because the outline of the procedures for this hearing prepared by your attorney indicated that cross-examination would be permitted.
Is
not
Mr. Jordan on here tonight? Jordan, are you on the Zoom?
There.
I am, yes. Can you hear me?
All right, yes. Can you please turn on? Thank you, Jordan. Hey, and your mic works tonight. I'm proud of you.
Very good. Yeah, I'm
Thank
calling in
you.
from home, so maybe that's the solution for us.
Awesome. All right, so we want to, well, the subject here wants to cross-examine Mr. Dischinger. Is this allowable? Or do we want to go down this road, or what?
There wouldn't be grounds for a witness to cross-examine the individual requesting the hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes what happens is, a city attorney could act on behalf of the city to pose questions of the witnesses and cross-examine, in this case, the requesting party.
Yep.
We haven't gone that route here today, so you could certainly, something to consider, but at this point, you've heard testimony from the parties and haven't allowed any kind of cross-examination. So while that isn't uncommon, it's at your discretion.
Daryl, I'm going to give you your last opportunity at the microphone. I really don't want to go into cross-examination. 'cause
I understand.
We could be here another 2.5 hours.
I understand.
As much as I get it on both sides, but.
Yeah. Now, the thing that I want to,
Todd and Michelle probably talked for about 4 minutes, so I'm going to give you 4 minutes too, okay?
okay, it won't take 4 minutes.
To make it fair.
I'm looking for the statute that applies here, but I think it is a domestic, a dangerous dog is one that makes an unprovoked attack on another dog and kills that dog. There's no evidence here that Reggie provoked anything. There's no evidence that I provoked anything. There's no evidence of provocation. There is abundant evidence of the attack, and there is abundant evidence of the death. And there is abundant evidence of the fact that the death was the direct and inevitable result of the attack that Zeke committed on Reggie. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. Mr. O'Brien, can I please have you come to the podium one more time? I just want to have you please speak on the fact of if the council decides and deems Mr. Dischinger's as a dangerous dog, what are the repercussions and what is the list that the Dischingers would have to follow to
Okay.
keep the dog, please?
So if you guys declare, basically affirm the designation that Zeke is a dangerous dog, he would have 14 days, basically. The city would provide, at a cost, signage. He would have to place signage in his yard that says, there's a dangerous dog on this property.
Okay.
He would always have to have a tag on his collar stating that he's a dangerous dog.
Okay.
There's a list here. So he'd have to be registered through the city. The city can charge up to a $500 yearly license to register a dangerous dog, which many of the cities in Crow Wing County do charge that.
Okay.
He would have to have a proper enclosure to put Reggie in, and a proper enclosure is...
Put Zeke in? It's okay.
Sorry, yeah.
It's
Zeke.
okay. It's
He would have
okay.
to have a proper enclosure to put Zeke in, and a proper enclosure is not like a fenced-in yard. It's an enlarged cage. It has to be a minimum of 32 square feet, has to have like chain link fence sides, solid metal roof, cement bottom that the chain link is attached to. If there is no cement bottom, the chain link has to be buried 18 inches into the soil, has to have a lockable door that is locked anytime Zeke would be in the proper enclosure. If no proper enclosure exists, he can be in a house can, or a building can be a proper enclosure if the windows are shut. A screen can't be the only thing keeping him from jumping through. Anytime he is outside of the proper enclosure, whether he's on His own property or not, he would have to
Okay.
be held by a short leash, 6 feet or shorter, by a responsible adult and be muzzled at all times.
So in the meantime, between now and May,
Yep,
that
short leash,
short
muzzle
leash,
at all times.
muzzle until a proper enclosure could be built.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
He has to have a surety bond, and this is the hangup for many people. Zeke would have to be insured for a minimum of $300,000 payable to anybody that Zeke would cause injuries to.
This is just a matter of fact. This is not right, this is law.
Yep,
This is
it's
part
law.
of the deal.
Yep, it's part of the deal. Proper enclosure, insurance policy, annual fee of not more than $500, has to be microchipped, has to be neutered, has to have signage,
Okay,
and that is it.
okay, thank you. City Council, do we have any questions of Mr. O'Brien?
No.
Okay, thank you.
And I would say that if you do declare him a dangerous dog, they have 14 days to get all this put together. I think the neuter is a 30-day thing, but everything else is 14 days. If after 14 days the insurance hasn't been secured, we would seize the dog.
Okay. Thank you. City Council, we have a decision here, and I'm gonna open it up to discussion. Nope. Nope, I'm sorry, Todd. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, personally, I mean, I feel for both parties, obviously.
Me
but,
too.
But it concerns me that, the dog twice has attacked, another dog.
Now, since there was not a police report on that, discard the second, please.
Well,
I know, but if
Okay,
we're gonna
but-
call a spade a spade.
but anyway, as unfortunate as the situation is, I think that this is potentially a dangerous dog.
So potentially dangerous and dangerous is two different statutes, Sandy.
I think it's a dangerous dog.
Okay. Now, Todd, Michelle, Daryl, I know you both. We live on the same road. We pass each other's house every day. You walk past ours. So puts me in a real difficult position, but I can't back out because I'm mayor and I know everybody in town. I just personally do not want to see the city, if something, God forbid, something were to happen, the city's ass would be in a sling. I really don't want to see that. I personally think, because now that it's here in front of the city, if we don't do something and something happens, we could get in trouble big time down the road. I'm leaning towards that. It is a dangerous dog. That's where I stand. I want to protect the city and protect going forward.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and move that we declare it a dangerous dog.
I'll second.
Conversation going 3 times. All in favor of a dangerous dog, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, please say opposed. Do you want a roll call vote on that, just to make sure we have it in the records?
And by saying that you're declaring him dangerous, are you approving the resolution that?
Yes.
Okay.
That has all the requirements in it,
So it's
correct?
the resolution to uphold dangerous dog declaration.
Okay.
Okay. That was-
Can we actually do a roll call vote on that, please? So if anything happens down the road, I'd like to do a
Sure.
roll call vote, please. Thank you.
Yes.
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 It just protects the city. All right. Moving forward, we will go to organizational meeting appointments. If anyone wants to bug out at this time, you're more than welcome. It's going to be a long one here, so I want to thank you all for being here right now. What? I think Mr. Sideline over here is gonna try to fix it.
I just want to score is all.
Someone calling me?
Man, that was interesting. Maybe I should go into law.
Or what?
Maybe I should go into law.
One career at a time.
I know. You're right. Yeah, here.
Maybe we should turn it off.
Oh, whatever. Oh, gosh.
Well, you're losing your.
3 and 10. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Moving forward. We're going to go into organizational appointments. So we need to appoint our legal services. So I'm going to make a motion that we stick with legal services. For civil with Ratlick, Rozak, and Maloney. For labor, we stick with Madden, Gantler, and Hanson. Prosecuting, we stick with Crow Wing County. Bond counsel is going to be with Taft and Law, and bond advisor is going to be David Drown and Associates, please. Second. Discussion once, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Same sign. Ayes have it. For designating, designee acting mayor, I'd like to appoint Sandy Farter as she has the most history and seniority. If I could get a second on that, I would appreciate it. All in favor?
Aye.
You're welcome. I'd like to appoint 2 ex officios to the Fire Relief Association, which would be myself and the city administrator. If I could have a council action on that, or a council motion, or sorry, a second.
I'll second that one.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the schedule of the regular city council meetings, which would be, you can see them as stated and they are posted online. They're still going to stick to the second Tuesday of the month, but we are going to be moving them to the 6 o'clock hour instead of 7. So if I could get a second on that.
Second.
Are we Tuesday or Monday? We got Monday on the agenda.
Second Monday.
And that's effective February?
Effective February 1st, going forward, yes. If I could get a second.
I second that.
Thank you. Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Appointment of the official newspaper. I'd like to appoint the Echo Publishing, please. That's a motion. If I could get a second.
I second it.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposing?
Jackson, you missed one in between.
Schedule. Oh, yeah, sorry.
City council and commission.
That, I meant the city council and EDA together, because they're on the same line. Are they separate?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, or a formal motion that Cross Lake EDA of 2025 starts at 8:30 on April 2nd, June 4th, September 3rd, and November 5th. If I could get a second.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, the appointment, where are we here? Let's see, appointment of the city engineer of Bolton and Mink, if I could get a second.
I'll second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Appointment of insurance agency to provide underwritten by the League of Minnesota Cities, Shane Penske and Lakes Central Insurance. That's motion. If I could get a second. Thank you. Discussion once, twice, 3 times, and then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Designate, okay, hold on. Approval of official depositories for the Franson Bank 4M Fund, please. And that would be city clerk.
No,
Sorry, where are we?
just 9.
Just 9? Okay, who are the signatories on that?
No, just the depositories.
Depositories, sorry. Just the depositories for Franson Bank and the 4M Fund, please. If I could have a second.
Second.
All in favor, or discussion once, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, designate signatories on the city checking and savings account, mayor, acting mayor, city administrator, and city clerk.
Second.
All, discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Designate the electronic fund transfer of delegates, mayor, acting mayor, city administrator, city clerk. If I could have a second.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Memo dated January 13th from Mayor Purfirst regarding commission appointments. Let me get there. All right, so for planning and zoning, I would like to bring Jeremy Johnson, who is an alternate, bring him forward and appoint him to his first 3-year term. I'd also like to bring Jeff McGrath forward, please, and appoint him to his first full term, with Jerry Voles' ending on 1/31 of '26. For Parks and Rec, I'd like to bring Peter Graves forward for his second appointment, Kara Porter forward for her second appointment, Joel Albrecht to his first appointment, and David Rogers as an appointment as an alternate. For Public Works, I'd like to bring Tom Swenson back forward to his second appointment. Mary Prescott this will be her first appointment. For the EDA, I would like to bring John Andrews forward and appoint him to his first appointment. In Public Safety, we're going to put Kurt Mowers for his second appointment, Aaron Herzog for his first appointment, and Robert Kniffel for his first appointment, filling Jamie Knapp's term. So if I could get a second on that, that would be great.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. And a special thank you to Bill Schultz out there in the crowd for serving on our planning commission for 7 years. So thank you, Bill, you're here. It was appreciated. Jerry Voles is not here, but he also served on our planning commission for over 6 years on the planning commission, so big round of applause for him. Bob Friesen back there, he served on our Public Works Commission for 3 years, so thank you, Bob, we appreciate it. Another big one, Mr. Fitch. Dean Fitch is not here tonight, but he has served 9 years on EDA, so a big round of applause for him. And then Matt Carlson served 4 years on Public Safety, so another applause for him. All right. We're going to do council liaison appointments. I hereby recommend the following liaison appointments for 2025. Building and Grounds is going to be myself. EDA is going to be Sandy Farter and Bob Heelis. Parks and Rec is going to be myself. Planning and Zoning, I'm going to put forward Mr. Knapp here. Public Safety Commission is going to be Bob Heels, Robin Sylvester, the Fire Chief, and the Police Chief. Public Works, Cemetery, and Sewer is going to be Miss Sylvester. Personnel Committee is going to be Jackson Purfirst, myself, and Sandy Farter. And we are the first level negotiating with our city administrator, Lori Conway. It's not final of what we recommend. It comes back to the council. But that is just going to be the first level negotiating team. Emergency management directors are still going to be our wonderful police chief and fire chief, and Cross Lakers, which is not a city-sponsored group, is still going to be Sandy Farter. If I could get a second on that.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. Chip, do you have anything? Nope. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. What? Say it. Nope. Well, if you got something. Then, okay.
Jackson,
all right.
While we're talking to the chief, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just in light of the tragic fires in Los Angeles, I just wanted to publicly commend Chief Lohmiller because, you know, he applied for and was accepted as one of only 6 fire departments in the United States to participate in a community wildfire protection plan. And it makes me feel really grateful that he did that for us. So just a round of applause for him.
All right, now we're to D. Public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issues raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issues will be placed on the agenda of the next regular city council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address at the discretion of the mayor. Each speaker is given a 3-minute time limit. If anyone has anything for public forum, please come forward now. Perfect. Seeing there is none, we are going to close public forum. Consent calendar. All these items are considered to be routine by the city council and will be acted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a citizen or council member requests so.
I'd like to move to approve all items on the consent calendar.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Mayor's report. Let me get there. F1, accepting donations. I would like to make a motion that we accept donations from the PAL Foundation for $3,732.32 and intended purpose is to go to the library. If I could have a second.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Discussion on discussion of the structure of the meetings. Going forward, I would like department heads, whenever they have a report or some kind of presentation to give to the council, instead of sitting, they will come and address us at the podium. Also going forward, we will have a running agenda on the screen. So as we go through the meeting, there will be a running agenda on one of the TVs for the public to see of what we're seeing in our packets, just for transparency. I'd like to keep the time frame down as quickly as possible. And also going forward, we are going to use our timer for public forum. And if a person in the public would like to get on the agenda and speak on something, you're more than able to do so. Come in the week before the city council meeting and please get your name on the agenda if you want to speak on something specifically. You're more than welcome to speak at public forum, but if you want an interaction with the council, please get yourself on the council agenda and give us, present us with something you would like to speak on. So that's all I have for that. Short-term rental process, we have done 2 life safety inspections so far. So that's where we're at. Nothing is licensed quite yet, but it is just now starting to take off. So that's where we are there. We are going to have a grace period with that until we can iron the kinks out and the website is up and running and everything can be done electronically. Yes.
So right now, short-term rentals in Cross Lake, are they not required to register through the county? They're expected to go through Cross Lake?
Correct. Come through the city of Cross Lake. I'd like to do a memo dated January 13th of 2025 from myself pertaining Lori Conway for recommendation regarding probationary status for our city administrator. Lori Conway, city administrator, will have completed her 6-month probationary period effective February 5th, 2025, and has received favorable performance evaluations from her peers and council members. Lori has shown to be a dedicated employee that will continue to serve this community and grow as a city administrator. My recommendation is that I would like to please put forward that Lori is taken off probationary status and is put on full-time status.
I'll second that.
Discussion once, twice,
You want to stick around?
3 times. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Ms. Nelson or Ms. Conway?
The first one is a resolution to approve the waste hauler licenses for 2025.
We don't have it.
These are the same 3 waste haulers that we've had for the past 3 years. Any questions? Then I need a motion, please.
Okay, I move to approve the waste hauler licenses for 2025.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
The next is a memo regarding an off-sale license for Up North Social. She was here in, I think, November or December and said she was interested in that. You changed the ordinance. It's been changed and posted, so now she is applying for that. So I just need a motion.
Go ahead.
Okay, I move to approve the liquor license for on-sale, off-sale of intoxicating liquor at Up North Social.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right, and the next one is an application for on-sale and off-sale for Riverside Inn is being sold. And the buyer is here, and Shane Mudick is here, if you guys did have any questions about the sale of that property. Otherwise, I do have all the paperwork, and everything is in order to make that go
So-
through.
So they've done the background check and all that other stuff?
Correct.
Perfect.
I make a motion that we approve the license.
I'll second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all,
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Do you know when they're going to reopen?
I believe February 10th?
Fantastic.
February 10th.
Okay. Are you keeping the same name?
My name is Charles Payne.
No, I said, are you?
Riverside Tavern.
Oh, it'll be the Riverside Tavern. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
perfect.
Welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Holy buckets, we're just cruising. Woo, this is a first.
I would like to make a recommendation for Cheryl Murphy, who is our treasurer and deputy clerk, to be lifted from her probationary period and be considered a full-time permanent employee. Cheryl has done a great job in learning her position. We have a long way to go because there's a lot to learn along with every single one of us. So she's done a great job. She's pleasant, and her reviews were remarkable. So I
Perfect.
ask for that consideration.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. Cheryl, thank you. You've proven time and time again that you're committed. You've taken stuff home, so it is seen and appreciated.
Aye.
We'll take that as an aye. Who else is in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, next one, we are at commission reports, planning and zoning, Ball. Fun, 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 we're all just having fun.
All right, well, good evening. First, I wanted to congratulate you, Jackson, as our newest neighbor, and also wanted to congratulate our 3 newest council members, so welcome. We're excited and optimistic that you'll be all a great asset to the city. First item on my agenda is the second reading of an ordinance establishing a rural residential 2 zoning district. So this would be implemented into our land use ordinance and give citizens of Cross Lake the ability to ask through a land use map amendment to rezone their property to a rural residential zone allowing for 2-acre parcels. This is the second reading of the ordinance, so we're looking for a council action motion on this tonight to approve or deny.
I would move to approve the establishing a rural residential RR2 zoning district.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Can we get that in summary form, or did you want to publish the whole thing?
Probably in summary form, it's pretty
Okay.
long.
Can I get a motion
Yeah.
to have that published in summary form?
Go ahead.
I'd like to move that we have that published in summary form.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you, Shar. All right, second item on the agenda for tonight is the discussion on the proposed personal storage district that the City Council recommended to the Planning Commission a few months back to bring forward to help accommodate developers who have been working towards building personal storage buildings. The motion back in November reads, I move that we allow the developers under question continue with their developments in the limited commercial and industrial/commercial zone with the understanding that the council will pursue the notion of rezoning for personal storage. Since then, the Planning Commission has come up with a personal storage district, but has not come to a place that is comfortable moving forward with and presenting to you guys as council. Therefore, we would like the opinion and recommendation from you guys of the new council, how to proceed before any further work is done. As a recap, the Planning and Zoning Commission created the corridor overlay district that prohibits storage on our main corridors in town, along with some further architectural standards to help protect the aesthetics of our community. It was also decided that the Planning and Zoning staff will administer the ordinance as it reads, and that land uses in the commercial, industrial, and limited commercial zoning districts be true in nature to those districts through the land use table and definitions. The past council decided that it was in their favor to work with the 3 developers whose intent was to build personal storage buildings and were in different phases of the development process. That is when the personal storage district was brought up as a possible solution to work with them, with the city.
I'm just gonna jump in here, because it.
Well, excuse me, I mean, it seems like there's a couple different issues being addressed at one time.
There's like 3 issues
Yeah.
going on.
And I personally think that in lieu of the fact that we have 3 new council members who really don't have all the information that we've been hashing over for months.
I think
that,
we're going the same
that,
direction.
You know, I'd like to suggest that we table this discussion for tonight, and don't groan everybody, but, you know, come up with a date for a workshop so that all of the new council members can be better informed about what our ordinance is, what we're proposing, you know, have our lawyer there so that, our city attorney there, so that, you know, he can inform them on like the ramifications of, you know, changing the ordinance or the ramifications of possibly violating the, you know, the ordinance. I just think that it's not fair to the new members to have to make a decision about this without more information.
Just for discussion, how are new city council members feeling on being brought up to speed with what's going on from hearing it in public? And I know you 2 specifically had meetings with Paul himself. Where are you 2 at? I want to hear from both of you, please.
This has been going in circles for way too long, I think. And to have something, some guidelines going forward that we're starting with is fine. But I don't like when we create problems for the people that already have developments going. They have spent a lot of money, they have infrastructure in place, they've been selling lots, and I just really think we need to figure out a way to move them along so they can continue with those projects, and we start with whatever we decide on moving forward.
Jamie?
I'm in agreement with Bob that we keep them moving. I don't think it's fair that we throw them under the bus.
But, I mean, the problem is we need to find a way that we can do it legally.
Right, we're getting there.
I mean, that's the issue.
We're getting there. Ms. Sylvester?
I did have the opportunity prior to campaigning or during campaigning to listen into many of these meetings, and it's complex. By no means do we have a simple answer. But I did say at the open forum that I do support the 3 developers that had been already across the starting line. I mean, I'm with you guys. We're in a precarious situation where 3 developers have invested a bundle of money already. So how can we accommodate that? At the council meetings, I did hear the attorney, and I think you're still on, Jordan, that there wasn't any feasible legal way with the language that was available to us even in the past, that we were quote-unquote interpreting the law, so therefore not following the law. Well, how can we, is there a possibility at all to come up with language to allow these 3 and not break the law with this council?
I know there's, I was thinking of this over today, and I was thinking things over. I would like to see this conversation go into 3 separate categories. One, we have one person that has the only, help me out here. The only industrial zone in the city of Cross Lake, and that's Dean. That could be solved with a ordinance amendment. Remember, Dean is the only one that has industrial in Cross Lake. With an ordinance amendment that allows personal storage in a commercial district, we get Dean out of the picture. That would solve that problem. He's the only one that has it. It's not a blanket statement for others industrial zones in Cross Lake, since there's only one.
Did you mean to allow?
To allow personal storage in a commercial district.
You mean industrial?
Or industrial district, I'm sorry. Yes, industrial district. So Dean would therefore be out of the picture.
Is that, so if we can take that one right now?
You could take that one right now and get him out of the picture, but that means this would have to come to a over-the-counter permit with planning and zoning, that it would have to be a land use table amendment. So we're not constantly coming to the city council, but that would solve Dean's issue. So keep that in the back of your brain.
Well, I think Dean's a little unique because, he's just got like, what, 4 lots in the middle of an already established storage unit? Or-
Well, but I mean, going forward.
Right.
Going forward for Dean, so we're not constantly coming in here and
Okay.
doing the song and dance. Then we would come down to Jared Johnson and Jeff McGrath's developments, which go in and out of commercial and limited commercial, the back 30 and the back 12, I think, whatever Jeff has. That one we're gonna need to have more conversation on, because that's not as easy as doing a land use or an ordinance amendment saying we're gonna allow personal storage in the commercial district, because then that opens up the can of worms of the overlay we just did and everything else. So that one's gonna need a little more time. And then it's the third issue is going forward on how we want to decide on where we wanna go with that personal storage district. I don't think anyone's really in favor of that, of developing a new district. So do we wanna tackle that issue right now and just kibosh it and make a motion to go away and do away with the personal storage district idea?
I'm willing to make a motion that we
can always.
That we discontinue any pursuit of
Correct.
personal storage.
Is that a motion?
zone. Yes.
Shar, did you get that?
I'll
Robin,
second
is
it.
that a second? Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, so that's one issue out of the way. Now, how do we want to handle Mr. Aguinar? Do we want to send it back to the planning commission? Or since this is pretty cut and dry? Personally, I think with the industrial zone, I don't know what's to come in the future. None of us do. But if we have the land now and there's a need for it, and people are griping that there's storage units in pole barns along County Road 3 and everywhere else, Mr. Aguinar has a good spot where you have to drive down Fawn Lake Road. Dean, would you commit to some screening? Yes. Sorry, I even said I wasn't gonna do, sorry. Yes. Okay. That's a perfect opportunity for storage. Do we have any discussion here?
Well, how does this impact staff? I'd like to hear.
It would have to go to the planning commission. The planning commission would have to draft up a new land use ordinance table.
We would have to, make an ordinance change to allow personal storage in a industrial/commercial
Correct.
district.
Would an ordinance change have to go through the council?
It would have to come back.
Ultimately, yes, it has to go through the planning commission first, but then it has to get recommended to the council.
And
then 2
right,
readings.
2 readings. But I think that gets another monkey off our back. Not calling you a monkey, Dean, but you know what I mean.
I'm going to ask a really dumb question, but I want to know.
Go ahead.
But like, from an attorney standpoint, is this, and from your expertise, is this doable? Is this language compatible?
I talked to our city attorney today and was given the okay.
Okay.
And I talked to a different attorney as well and said that would fly.
All right, thank you.
Jordan, are you on there? Just so we hear a yes, because you're at the meeting tonight, please.
I am, yeah. I know you spoke with Joe earlier today, so I'll
Correct.
defer to that conversation.
All right, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I would like to make a motion that we send it back to the planning commission only for Mr. Aguinar's development regarding industrial, that we allow personal storage in the industrial district. Second. Discussion once?
I have discussion.
Yeah.
In the future, if someone wanted to do that in the industrial, would they have to come for it? Would they be
No,
required to get a
this is gonna be a permitted, yes, they have to come in and get a permit, yes. They can't just throw up buildings.
Okay.
They have to come in, get a permit, do the process with Paul, out the door they go. So discussion twice, 3 times, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. There's another one gone. So now we're back to Jared and Jeff, the 2 that are in commercial unlimited. That one, I think we should have I want to say go ahead and build, but that one is going to be a little more tough because of the corner that we're in with our
The legality.
with their legalities. So that one, I would like to recommend we do a workshop with our city attorney and the two builders involved and the planning commission.
I think that sounds great.
I'll second, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second that.
Second, discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Paul, please get back to me on a date, because you're gonna have to wrangle up your crew.
Yeah, it'll be led by the city council.
It'll be led by
And
the
so
city
really,
council.
The council, it has to be. If the
Yes.
city council is involved, you guys will be.
But let us know what date you can get the planning commission together. Please talk with Jared and please talk with Jeff. And the attorney. When you guys can get together, let me know, and Shar could send it out and say what days work best, please.
10-4.
Perfect. After February 1st.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sounds good.
Perfect. All right, let's go city attorney report. Jordan, you have anything?
I do not have anything further to report.
Awesome. Any new business? New business? Going once, twice?
Wait, you're moving very quickly, and I did not have time to turn my microphone on during the public forum, so I
That's
want.
fine. Hop on
I just
in.
want to note that I'm requesting that the council consider approving a grace period for short-term rentals because the conditions of the application.
Rebecca,
are
I
in-
please need you to state your name and address, please.
Okay, it's Rebecca Wharton, 13402 Hidden Valley Road.
Okay?
Sorry, I typed that
Nope,
into.
you're fine. And there is a grace period right now until we get everything up and running. Now, how long is that gonna be? I don't know. Does that mean you can operate without a license? Not at all. But there's a grace period on getting all your information in and everything else. But you cannot operate a
what does that
short-term
mean?
license without a,
What's the definition of a grace period if you can't operate?
The grace period is waiting until we can get everything and our website up. So everything's being done by hand and paper right now, and then our company that we're working with will take everything that we have submitted on paper and put it online.
Okay, well, my proposal is that you allow a grace period for operation because the conditions are actually impossible to comply with, and I'm sending a list of the issues that I've discovered that.
Rebecca, you have holding tanks, correct?
A holding tank?
Is that,
what?
did you come in one time and talk about holding tanks or no? Or am I getting you mixed up?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me.
Okay,
I
never
don't
mind.
have
I'm
holding-
getting you mixed up, sorry.
So I'm sending in a letter. It's unfair, frankly, that people who have had licenses for years through Crow Wing County and were not notified that the period was ending. And we are unable to comply, and now we're gonna lose the summer season. That's what I'm proposing. It sounds like you give a person with a dangerous dog time to comply, to build a cage. Why don't you give people with short-term rentals time to comply?
Ms. Wharton, where can you not comply is my question, because you've been in here for over a year discussing with the city council, and I appreciate you coming in and speaking with us and helping us along with this issue. But you've been involved in numerous conversations about short-term rental, and you've known what's going on. You've spoken public forum. Can you please tell me where you cannot comply with our ordinance?
Sure, I've got a list of 6 things and I'm sending you a letter. It's all typed up, but I'll run down them very briefly. The first and most significant is septic tanks. You can't get an inspection in the winter. Crow Wing gave us a grace period where we just had to give an affidavit saying we would do it when the weather permitted, okay?
I'm hearing you out.
The second thing is that the instructions say that we must include the short-term license number in several places, but that number doesn't exist yet. So your ordinance conflicts with your
You
instructions.
will be issued a license number from the city of Cross Lake upon completion of a septic inspection and on completion of a life and safety inspection. You will be issued a number from the city of Cross Lake, and Chip is going to speak on that.
The license number as of right now will be your parcel number until the platform is set up Once the platform's set up, you'll get a different license number, but the grace period is until April 1st.
Okay, it doesn't say that, so that's another thing I'd like, is just a little bit of time to work out the bugs. That it doesn't say anything about a grace period anywhere in the instructions or the ordinance. And there are some discrepancies that if we had time, we could work it out with you guys, and that the important thing is that if we can't advertise until we have the license, and we can't get the license until, summer basically, or spring when we're able to comply, then we lose the summer. We lose return visitors.
We totally understand. We fully get it. And like I said, you've been integral in the conversation of short-term rentals, and, the grace period applies to you as well. It applies to everybody. We're not gonna punish you for not, I know you're gonna work with us and it's gonna take time, but you can go ahead and advertise.
It would be helpful if the website or the ordinance said that, so that because what it says right now is we can't advertise and we will be fined. That's what it says. We need some time to work this out, so I'm sending you the list, and I appreciate your
Perfect.
time.
Thank you, I appreciate it. New business, any new business? Old business?
I do.
Yes.
I would like to go back to the organizational meeting appointments under C, where you kind of went through the civil Ratwick Law Firm
Yes.
and labor from Madden, Gallagher, and Hanson.
Yep.
However, I would like that clarified
Okay.
further, that we currently have a contract with Ratwick that does give us options to utilize labor. I have been working with them through the ASME union, and I would like to have it noted that we could use both of them.
Perfect, that is just fine by me.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna make a motion that we use both for labor, one for one for the other, and they both can cross-reference if need be. If I could get a second on that?
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor? Aye, opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Any other old business? Sandy, I'm gonna give you my motion.
I move to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign, ayes have it.